What's going on YouTube? This is Luke from Elkins Everyday. Tonight I'm making some honey sesame chicken. It's probably one of our favorite meals that we always cook, well, specifically me. And I'm going to show you how to do it. It's really not that hard, and I promise you it's probably going to be better than the majority of honey sesame chicken you get anywhere else. And it's fairly affordable too, so stick with me and I'll teach you how. Alright, first step is you need some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. If you can't find boneless, well then you gotta debone it. So that's what I'm doing today. Honestly, I don't mind if you leave the skin on either. But that's usually, if you buy boneless, they usually don't have the skin on. So, but today, I'm going to debone these chicken thighs. It's not too bad. Not super long process, but just gotta cut around the bone and cut out this cartilage. Honestly, I don't care if there's a little bit of stuff you want. You could save that, make a stock, but I'm not gonna do that. I cut off some of this extra skin because there's usually a good amount hanging out. Just make sure you get all the cartilage pieces. I can feel a little bit of this in the string right there. And then I'm just gonna cut this up into about 1-inch cubes. So usually just go right down the middle, and then about 3 cuts, could be 4 chunks, roughly this size. So I'm just gonna throw them in a bowl. I'm gonna do that for all of these. I got 6 chicken thighs in this package. Sometimes these packages come with 5, but either way, just get somewhere right around there. And let's cut all these out. We were gonna make chicken fajitas tonight, but we were a little bit swamped and we stayed out a little bit later getting some errands done. So I had to put the baby down a little bit early, well, a little bit late. And I'd rather just make really good fajitas, and marinate it. So I'm going to marinate those tonight after we're done with this. And I'll definitely be making a video of that as well. They're also delicious. Get out some of that cartilage. Always recommend, if you're doing any sort of boning, cutting bones out of meat, definitely use a boning knife. They're called a boning knife for a reason. They make your life a lot easier. And always a sharp knife. Get a knife sharpener if you don't have one. Knives dull very easy when you cook often. So all I'm doing is cutting down the top of the back side of the bone, and then getting on both sides of it. And I just run my knife down one side. It's usually, you can tell that one side has a lot more cartilage than the other. So I go towards the one without a lot, and then I'll just rip the bone back. Usually prick away some of the meat to save as much as I can. But today I'm just trying to get dinner cooked and food in our bellies, so we are gonna just rush through this. Well, quote unquote rush through it. Halfway there. Use chicken thighs. Chicken thighs are the best cut. People say, oh, they're too fatty, they're too greasy. I don't like dark meat. Grow up. It's good. And the best part is, it's very, 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 very hard to overcook. Because even when you do overcook it, it's usually still pretty moist. So trust me when I say. Trust all the cooks when I say too. Got that one. Not have a lot of excess skin, which is nice. I'll just clean my cutting board a little bit. Eventually, when I get a tripod, I will definitely take a video of me doing a little bit more of this cutting from a top end angle. I know a lot of people are not comfortable with quote unquote butchering what they're cooking, you know what I mean? So cool. Now I got all my chicken. Toss these scraps because I am not making stock tonight, or don't really need one. So got Thanksgiving coming up, so I'm gonna make with a bunch of this leftover turkey carcass. I'm gonna make a turkey noodle soup because it's delicious and it's fall / winter, so it's the best thing. Let me clean up real quick and thankfully nothing else with this meal. You need a knife. A little tip of the trick: if you're tired of your cutting board slipping away, wet a rag, put it right underneath it, and your thing won't roll away while you're trying to cut. Next step, before oil, salt, garlic powder, and black pepper. I don't use a lot of black pepper because you really don't need to because you're putting a sauce over it, but definitely like to salt this. Give it a little bit more flavor, because salt is flavor. Garlic powder, nothing crazy, and then a little bit of black pepper. Big thing with recipes, I know everyone likes to measure things in cooking. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, and this is one of those things you just don't need to do. Let's see, let me use my left-handed mix. Better yet, I got gloves. All right, so oil's heating up, so we're gonna go ahead and get started mixing the rest of this up. So I already put the salt, pepper, and garlic powder in there. I'm gonna mix this up first, just because I like to get that salt everywhere. You can add your oil. It's probably about a quarter cup, maybe a little more. Just mix it all up. I like to do this first because this is cornstarch, that's your next ingredient. It's going to kind of just coat everything, and once it's on there, it's going to be hard to mix up the salt and pepper around. So I'm just going to generally sprinkle this and be careful. Well, in a sense, clouds up a lot because it's very, very powdery, but and we're looking for kind of a consistency where you can see that all of the chicken is coated, but it's not crazy stuck together, because it will stick together. I'm not left-handed. This is actually way more difficult left-handed. Well, opposite hand, I guess. So right around here, it's all gonna stick together, but it also will fall apart. You want it just like that. You can see that it's all coated somewhat nicely, evenly. I'm gonna add a little bit more just for crunchiness, because I like my chicken crunchy. All right, this is all mixed up, And now we're just gonna wait until our oil is ready to go, and then we're gonna throw this on the pan. Okay, for the sake of this video, I already starting to get everything prepped. I got my big old 12-inch pan filled just, I don't know, half an inch so full of oil. I'm gonna turn this to 7.5, give or take. That's all right. Let's go ahead and add this chicken. Takes, 5-6 minutes for this usually to heat up. I honestly probably should have started a little bit before I started this cooking or slicing up the meat, but don't want it to start burning either. So throw this in. That's good sizzle. It's okay if you throw it in a little bit early too, because obviously we just mixed it with some oil anyway. So honestly, you probably could have used less oil than I put in this pan as well, but we're here. I'm gonna take this glove off my hand and we'll start mixing this up. All right, here we go. Spent like 5-6 minutes with that glove on my hand. Spread around. We are now gonna let this thing cook. Let's turn this up just a tad. We'll turn it to 8. And we're gonna let this cook and we're gonna get started on the rest of the food. All right, we need to wash some rice. I got a 1.5 cups of rice in here, specifically nishiki. Shout out to our friend Vana for hooking me up with the information on rice, because I just always use jasmine. It works great, but nishiki is that sticky rice, so it's really good. And don't judge me, Uncle Roger. I know. I just need to buy a rice cooker, but this doesn't fail me, and it still tastes delicious. So, but doing anything more than 1.5 cups, 2 cups is a little bit difficult, because trying to get the water right. But just give this a good wash, run your fingers through it, and get all that stuff out of there. First time I saw this, I had no clue that it was a thing, but ever since I saw it was a thing, I always do it, and it does make it really good. That much better. All right. So I'm gonna stick my finger bottom of the rice, get this rice all leveled out. It should be coming up just to that first knuckle. And this is a little bit too much water, so I'm just gonna pour it out. A little bit out. And we're right there. So let's get this started. So I'm liking this one so far. I use a whole chunk just because honestly there's going to be like a slight little bit left over. Might as well just eat more broccoli, because broccoli's delicious. Let's see, this piece has a little bit of browning. We've had this in the fridge, I think, for not too long, but enough, I guess, for it to brown a little bit. And I don't like dirtying up more dishes than I have to. Unfortunately, this does require usually 3 pans. You can always do broccoli a little bit easier if you really wanted to. You could throw it in a microwave bowl and do all the same stuff I'm doing and throw it in the microwave, but we're not gonna do that. Then I don't keep the stems. Some people like to chop up the stems and eat them. That's you, do it. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. Same thing, add some salt, a bit more, some black pepper, love pepper, so we're adding a lot to this one. You can either add fresh minced garlic. I have some next to me, but I already have this next to me too, so I'm just gonna add some garlic powder, add a little bit of olive oil. And then all I'm gonna do is add probably like a 1/4 cup of water. Not very much. Just literally run the faucet on for 2 little splashes, and that just gives it enough for it to steam. And this is exactly how we're gonna throw it in there. And then once it starts steaming, we'll turn it to low, just kind of like how rice is, except for it takes a lot shorter. So throw that on the stove, getting it ready. And we're getting close to being able to turn the chicken, so I will do that. nice and sizzly and hot, we'll notice the edges starting to brown. So unfortunately this burner, because I hate these stoves, they don't like to cook, well, 12-inch pans just don't fit on it, in other words. So we have to kind of mix the chicken around a little bit to get a good crisp all around, but we'll do that here in a few. So while I'm getting this chicken still browning up, figure I might as well just tell you right now what I use for the honey sesame sauce. Originally, when I first started making honey sesame chicken, I actually looked up a recipe and basically got all the ingredients, from an Asian market or Asian section to make a honey sesame sauce. I still do it on occasion, but we don't got time in this house very often for me to do that. It takes probably a whole another 20-30 minutes, give or take, to make that sauce. So this is what I use. Panda Express honey sesame sauce. I do usually spruce it up, add some minced garlic. If you want it fresh, but again, I don't have time for that. I can, but I don't. And then I always add sesame seeds. Normally, you can just usually heat this up in a pan real quick. What I do, you'll see me do this. I'll throw in a good drizzle into the pan, add a little bit of water to lighten it up and so it doesn't burn and get even tackier and stickier. And then I'll add a good scoop full of garlic, sprinkle in some sesame seeds, get them toasted in there as well. Because the sauce is really sweet and good, full of carbs obviously, but it's definitely lacking some extra flavor. So that's what we'll do, and I'll show you how it's going. Also, I'll probably write down the recipe and link the recipe that I use when I do make a sauce from scratch. It's amazing, and I don't even know where I get it, honestly, but I'm going to link it anyways because it's delicious. All right, our chicken is getting some good browning color, so we're just going to start flipping it all. Obviously, it's pretty hard to be perfect. Ooh, some of those are starting to get a little extra crispy. I definitely am cutting chicken behind me, getting those fajitas all, just trying to get those started and marinated. But I'm gonna turn all this chicken as best as we can. Really just kind of throw it around. At the same time, we're gonna start the rice, throw that up to high. Let that get nice and hot, and then as soon as that rice I turn down to low, I'm going to start the broccoli as well. I don't usually turn that one to high because there's not a lot of water. I don't want it to get too hot too fast. Turn it up to like medium high, so probably around a 7. Sorry if my camera angle is not the best. It's definitely probably should have been flipped a little bit sooner, but I forgot to turn up the heat just a bit. So, all right, it's starting to boil. Turn that down to low. These lids don't really seal very well for whatever reason. So I get a lot of that splash over. But turn that down to low, 1, and let's go ahead and start our broccoli too. Put to 6 because I still need to drain this oil. There's our finished chicken, and we're going to drain this oil. I like to save it, so I'm gonna show you I'm gonna show you the best that I can with one hand how to do that. All right, so I plugged the sink, dried it off a little bit. Got a mason jar and a strainer. It's a very small one, so it fits over the jar. I'm not gonna catch all this oil because I am not that skilled. But this is do this at your own risk because this is hot oil. But we're gonna go ahead and put this in here. Plug the sink, so I'm gonna take a paper towel because you're not really supposed to put on oil down the sink. But we're gonna get all this extra crumbs out of there. Now you're left with the pan, a strainer full of crumbs, which we're just gonna end up tossing because that's nothing good. So go ahead and carry this over. We'll wash that. All right, that's not one to balance it anywhere. All right, there we go. All right, obviously we had a lot of spillover, so I cook enough and fry enough of this with chicken, so I usually use it once or twice, and after this, and then I discard a bit. So I already have a little spot where I keep it. Just gonna pick it up very gently. Usually the rim of the jar is not as hot, but taking a paper towel, try to clean off the bottom best you can. Have a spot with a paper towel to really collect any of the excess. Just up by my windowsill, and bam, I save as much oil. I'm just gonna, there's a good amount in here too, but I'm gonna catch as much as I can with these paper towels, and then we will move on to the sauce. Alright, so got this rice almost finished, and this doesn't take super duper long. It will take longer if you put too much water, so hopefully I didn't put too much water in this. I'm gonna get a good old heaping teaspoonful, roughly. You can always add more. I ain't gonna complain if you add more garlic, but it is honey sesame, so honey garlic is also a different version. A good amount of sesame seeds. Yeah, we'll always add more anyways. I'm just gonna mix this around in the water first, get these all these flavors kind of started. Don't judge me using my metal against this, because I don't treat my stuff very well. I should probably treat it better. But mix this around a little bit. You can see I got it on 5.5, 6. And since it's steaming, we're gonna go ahead and add our sauce. I just usually add right around there, not bad. And we're just gonna mix this around. All right, I'm actually gonna grab a spatula, make our lives a little bit easier here, because honestly this pan is huge for trying to use tongs with a small amount of liquid. But I'm just gonna go ahead and add this. Basically the reason we add some water is so we can heat up the sauce without burning it, and it also helps kind of cook these flavors into the sauce too, so adds just a bit more flavor. All right, here we go. I added a little dollop more of the sauce because I didn't think it was honestly going to be enough. It probably was, but either way, as you see, it's still a little bit runny, but I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken because honestly it just makes it easier to for the sauce to actually attach to the chicken. So go ahead and shake this spatula off. We are just about done with it. I'm just gonna throw it. I'm just gonna use tongs, I guess. So this is how I always do anything that I have to drip oil. So bacon, always just take a sheet pan, put some aluminum foil, and then I can put my paper towels right over that, so I don't really dirty up the sheet pan. I don't have to wash it because honestly they get very annoying to wash. And then I'm just going to flip this in. Doesn't really toss very well. That's okay. You can hear how crunchy that is. Definitely made it a little bit crunchier than we'd like, but again, it's fried chicken. It's not gonna be bad. All right, added just a little dollop more. Just set the camera down for that. It's not a whole lot. You kind of just use as much as you need. You know what I mean? That has a little bit more coverage now, though. I don't mind it, not being heated up. You obviously don't have to heat it up super hot if you don't want to. You could really just toss the chicken straight into it after cooking it. All that oil that's already on the hot chicken is going to loosen up the sauce itself. But like I said, I like to add the extra flavor, so I'm gonna do that. But chicken is done. Ooh, lid's hot. Let's see, broccoli's done. And our rice looks done too. I don't want to quite take the lid off, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn everything off. Get this all served up. And there you are. You got a plated honey sesame chicken with some white rice and seasoned broccolis. And we're gonna go chow down. And I I'll tell you how it is. As you can see, we both finished our plates. Even got a little bit of leftover, like I said, so that'll be a good little lunch for tomorrow. We hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna put all of the ingredients and everything down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.